Hello, Fat Puppy here, and I am at another church. This would be the High Hills of Santee Baptist Church. It was founded in 1772. The first building was built in 1803, but then that was replaced with another building in 1848. This building, 1848. The land on this church was bought from General Thomas Sumter. You may have heard me mention him before. He also donated land to another church, and I come to find out he donated land to yet another church. So he gave land for a couple churches that I know of and then sold this. I guess he wasn't a Baptist. Anyway, the church was basically built by a guy named William Sanders. And Sanders was the owner of Oakland Plantation, which if I can get over there, I'll try to get a short video of his house. It's kind of off the road. I'm not sure you'll see it. But there's an interesting story in regards to him, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The first pastor here was Richard Furman, Dr. Richard Furman. Furman University is named after him. So we're going to just look around a little bit and talk. I don't know when it came into the hands of the Sanders family, but it stayed in the hands of the Sanders family until 1981. By the way, I make these videos because I like it. I like making the videos of history. I'm a big history buff, and I love old churches and old cemeteries. If you like this video, then how about give it a thumbs up and subscribe? That way you can see my other videos. As a matter of fact, if you ring the bell, there'll be one. I think once you hit subscribe, a bell will show up. And if you hit that bell, you'll be notified whenever I make another video. So when I do this, I look for stuff interesting or things that stand out. On this one right here, I'm pretty sure this is the one. I can't really read them now, but I have before. And on this one here, these are 4 markers, 4 graves. And if I remember correctly, this was a mother and 3 young children that all died the same year, but not at the same time. I'm going to assume it was possibly a disease. I wish I could remember when, because I just can't read the tombstones. The writing is hard to make out. It was easier to make out before. But sad story. You know, I've said it before. These are life stories here. These people did things. They lived lives. They had struggles. And then they're buried here. And when they're buried, tears. People cry over these people. And, I don't know, 100 years ago? Well, more like about 150 at this point, I'm sure. 125, something like that. They were memories. They were strong memories. People knew them. Now, nobody knows who they are. It's sad, really. I mean, that's why we have these markers, so people know us. It's a thing within us about longing for eternity, longing to be known. I don't know if it's just a human quality, but it is a human quality. I know that. But anyway, let's get on and talk about some other things. Do you know what that is? I know some of you old timers do. I remember that from when I was a little child. It's the bathroom. That's right. It's an outhouse, and it's a real outhouse. I opened it up and looked inside. It's a real outhouse. You know, if you think about it, and I'm not trying to be funny and hope that anybody who is a member of this church doesn't get upset at me, but all the churches had outhouses, yet I've not been to one single church, except for this one, that kept theirs. I don't know. Maybe I got a funny sense of humor. I think it's cool. But that is the bathroom right there. So, I've said all along that if I can find any interesting ghost stories to go with these videos I'm doing, I would tell them. I've looked, there are no ghost stories associated with this church, High Hills Baptist Church, that I can find. However, there's a very interesting story yet. So, back about 4 or 5 years ago, I was here doing a little bit of video. This is long before I had anything to do with YouTube. And a deacon showed up and let me inside and showed me the church inside. And they have pictures of the people that built this church. And that would include Mr. William Sanders, who had the Oakland Plantation. I believe that plantation actually is still in the Sanders family. So, the story. See that rock right there? Looks like it might have been inscribed with something. I can't really tell. So Mr. Sanders, the year this church was built, was involved in a carriage accident. And to save his life, they had to cut off his arm. Now, you know, we look back, we think car accidents, people get killed, but you know what? They got killed in carriage accidents too. So, he had his accident, he lost his arm. They buried his arm right there, about 30 feet from the front of the church. Well, unfortunately, he ended up dying anyway. And he's buried somewhere in this yard. I've seen his tombstone, I just don't remember where. And these old tombstones, I just can't see them like I used to, not the old writing and stuff. I think it's in the back corner of the graveyard, but there are Sanders buried all over this place. So it's really hard to tell. But his arm is there. He's somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe it's just my sense of humor. I just thought that was interesting. Well, that about wraps it up for the high hills of Santee Baptist Church. I hope you enjoyed that. And hey, that's a wrap.